are you feeling a little bit better about Frank Reich? I know your initial opinion wasn't like you weren't in love with him, but how are you feeling now?
I feel pretty good. I mean, it's never not that I wasn't ever really in love with him. He just wasn't my top choice, and we had my top choice, like a few of my top choices in the building. So it was kind of difficult, but I didn't want to go in not giving him a chance. And so far, everything I've seen, I've been highly impressed with, and I'm excited for what's going forward.
Cool, cool. CK, you feeling good about this?
Dude, I feel much better. Again, I wasn't high, I wasn't low on it. I was just kind of about it. But man, the additions of this coaching staff, it's hard not to look at this and think, man, I don't know that we're in a rebuild anymore, right? I think that there was a sense that we might be. I feel like this coaching staff is going to look at this roster, and I think they're going to be able to come to terms with some good free agents out there that look at this roster or this coaching staff and think this is the place to go and play, right? Because I mean, you just got so many people that have been there, have played this game, and I think players respect that more than anything is when they have a coach that's played in the position in the NFL and had some level of success in doing so.
Yeah. Do we think that we're at risk to lose a lot of these guys after one season if we
Yes.
experience some modicum of success?
I'm going to tell you why we're at risk of losing some of these guys. I think, you know how the league was pissed at Tepper for doing what he did with Rule?
Yeah.
I think that they're pissed at Tepper for doing what he did this year as well with the hiring of all these coaches. And I could see a scenario where they not only hire our offensive and defensive coordinators, but potentially some of the offensive assistants off of us into the other offensive coordinator roles. And so I could see them doing almost just as a FU to Tepper for doing what he's done, which again, opinions are opinions when it comes to whether he should have done what he did. But I think he's got he knows what he wants, man. And the dude is just ready to have this team be successful. And I can't help but appreciate that.
Oh, they're going to forget about that, CK, as soon as they have to start paying these quarterbacks now. They're going to turn all to the Browns and Deshaun Watson contract, and that's who there is under there in their sights at this moment. But those would be good problems to have, right? Is that if you are having enough success to where your team is a place that people want to poach. And by the way, Indy he had to deal with this in Indy. All the guys that were in the damn Super Bowl were on his team, were under his coaching staff. I think that we are very positioned, particularly with Jim Caldwell there. I'm sorry, like we can weather those storms. I truly think, and he was even asked about this in the press conference today, but where I think he has excelled, or not excelled, I think he shows you he's been there, done this before. He feels confident and comfortable. Caldwell, too, same way. Caldwell, I feel, is the smartest guy in the building. Like, I just think, like, he's just too smart. Like, it's almost like, good God, it's intimidatingly smart. But these guys never overreached on a question, and they never dodged a question. They were asked about how they felt. We continued to want to hear them say, "Oh, I came here because the roster is great. Oh, I came here because of this." And they were like this. They answered the question. They're like, "Well, look, we're just doing this. We just got here." And Cody, they were asked today about the quarterback position and the hot name in free agency that is out there being shopped around, Derek Carr. And I think not a sidestep, but this is the answer you have to give.
And I think it was the honest to God truth as well.
The right answer.
We asked you about quarterbacks a few weeks ago. Since that time, Derek Carr is available. Will you guys bring him in on a visit?
Interesting question. We're really literally sitting down with the guys today for staff. First staff meeting will be tomorrow. But I've kind of met with guys individually saying, okay, here's what we're doing. First step one, let's evaluate our roster. So we're really just starting that process. So step two, evaluate the free agents. Everybody got their list. Okay. Step three, now, going to the college guys. So that process is a little bit done. So we're really not ready to address the specifics of that because we're really just beginning.
We asked you about
So it was very honest, man. It was saying that they haven't even really gotten to that part of their evaluation yet, and how he even said during the press conference tomorrow they're all going to be in a room together and they're going to start really evaluating the entire roster as is for the first time as a Panthers coaching staff. And you have to do things in order. Tony, I know you talk a lot about what, the David Gettleman-isms and the things that he used to say and the things that you should do, never drafting hungry and all these things. Well, one of the things that he always did say, and look, say what you want about Gettleman. He may not have always taken his own advice, but he did have some good nuggets from here.
Oh,
and there.
that was his only problem, that he didn't take
Yeah,
his own
he never
advice.
followed his right. But he would talk about how your free agency is absolutely key to setting up your draft. And right now, the Panthers staff is tasked with looking at the guys that they have, how much money do they have, and can they free up in a reasonable amount of time? What players, one, that's on our team, do you want to retain? And then who else is out there that we can bring on that can help bring our game to the next level? And as a staff, 100% of your focus has to be on that. You're going to have your guys that are going to the combine and, taking measurements and all this stuff, and they're gathering data for later. But right now, it's a first things first type of mentality in the building. And I love that, man, because it tells me, yes, they're going about it the right way.
It's the right way to do it, the exact right way to do it. And what I love about this is that the reason you feel like he's being honest, because he is. He's not trying to sell you something you want to hear. And if we go back and look at Matt Rule's press conferences at this same time of year, like in this moment, he's out there sucking off Cam Newton and then cutting him 2 days later. Not
even just that. He would not answer a damn question to save his life. He would just, he would just,
at the end of the day,
and we would defend him like that's coach talk, right? What else are you supposed to say in that situation? But I mean, when he's honestly answering that question in the best way he possibly can right now, as far as Reich is, and it's not sounding like he's dodging it. He's like, listen, we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about it. We don't know the answer right now. And I appreciate that. Honestly, I appreciate the fact that he's not coming out here. And honestly, even if you want to talk about Jim Caldwell, he was asked a similar question. He's like, I haven't even had an opportunity to sit down and review the tape of the guys on this team. I'm not gonna sit here and give and
blow smoke up your ass.
Yeah, and tell you what I think about a roster that I haven't really had an opportunity to evaluate.
I love it.
And I appreciate those guys, man.
I love when Caldwell said this. He said, and it's also great not having to answer some of these questions because I'm not the head coach. Like, I don't have to answer some of these questions.
Did you also see the part where they asked him about David Tepper? And he's like, well, I don't know if I'm in a position to be nitpicking my boss, but he seems really personable. And, I didn't want Caldwell to be the head coach of the Panthers when he was a name being brought up. But now that I've listened to him and I've heard him, and I get a feel for the type of man that he is, dude, I am so happy to have that guy on the staff, man, to be able to.
I tried to tell you.
Yeah, I mean, to be able to, give his advice and his expertise to, not only the players, but the coaches as well. And you're right, Tony, his intelligence, it just jumps out at you. So
he's not trying to be smart. You know what I'm saying? He's not trying to be smart. You just know that he is. He's so well spoken.
Right.
He's so polished. And I think the only reason I wouldn't be excited for him to be the head coach is that he's almost too smart and too in neutral. Like it's like he's just like the opposite of me. Let's just put it that way. He's like got the opposite personality of me. And when you talk about this, I mean, I told you I would be happy with either one of those guys being the head coach. I told you that my dream would be Caldwell and Reich as the offensive coordinator or Reich and Caldwell. Completely happy with this. But they started to articulate some of the roles today, Cody, that this coaching staff would take on, because we heard about Jim Caldwell joining this coaching staff, but he was not named offensive coordinator. We heard Deuce Staley joining this coaching staff and being named assistant head coach. And Frank Reich was very clear. It seemed like had a distinct vision in his mind what these roles would be. He said this, what I took away from was this, is Caldwell's role was going to be supervisory in many ways to all of the coaching staff, much like a head coach has to take under their umbrella, right? Like a vice president, I guess. But I would call it I wrote down supervisory or advisory, like a mentor to every coach on that team. And he said that Deuce Staley would be the assistant coach, and that was not in name only, but that was actually in the management of the game, addressing the team, being like taking on those responsibilities. And I felt like and again, going back to Dom Capers said, this isn't a sentimental how. I feel like they really have a clear vision. And maybe that is truly what attracted Jim Caldwell. Said the location was attractive, but he turned down offensive coordinating positions. And he said this, they said, can you speak to anything about why you took this job over other jobs other than your relationship with Frank Reich? He said, there's really not much to talk about other than my relationship with Frank Reich. I felt completely comfortable coming here, was clear what that was Frank Reich is the reason we have Jim Caldwell.
Yeah, well, didn't he also say that even when he was with Detroit, that most of his family still lived here in North Carolina?
Yeah. They all live here.
Yeah, that's another point. It feels like for a lot of our coaches, this is representative of a homecoming. Like it really does feel like that. Even Deuce Staley, he has a mom in South Carolina that he wanted to be closer to. So it just seems like for not only their professional careers, but for their personal lives as well, it seemed to be just a culmination of a perfect circumstance for all these coaches to come here at this point in time. And Tony, we're not even done talking about some of the hires, man, because right after we got done Tuesday, it seemed like there were even more coaching hires that we had to talk about. But what did you say? Tell me what you think, Tony. You want to jump into some cat calls and see what these Panther fans are having to say?
I do. I want to mention one other thing, though, about the location, destination. One of the things is I think it kind of speaks to the attractiveness of North Carolina as a state. As that look, as Frank Reich talked about, when they settled down here, they stayed, even though they knew they were going to be moving around as a football family. Is that there was something about North Carolina that was attractive to them. So the state of North Carolina, look, the reason Jim Caldwell's family, his children and his grandchildren live here in North Carolina is because he was the head coach of Wake Forest, right? So you have these, and it shows, I just think it's interesting to hear people speak so fondly of Charlotte as a city, but North Carolina and the region and the 25 years of us having to hear small market, nobody cares about Charlotte. I think it kind of shows that, is that like now all the Northerners went to Florida and they're kind of inching their way back up. Like, is North Carolina really feels like a destination state right now for a lot of people and not just in the football world. So yeah, let's get into the cat calls. We want to hear what you feel about this because there's only one coaching position that has not been announced. And that is the tight end coaching position. He said would be announced in 24 to 48 hours. But we even got D'Angelo Hall joining this coaching staff, former Atlanta Falcon. Ugh. But somebody in the chat had some great comments. If we really things come push to shove, we could put Josh McCown and D'Angelo Hall in there. They probably still got some juice in the tank. Yeah, let's get into these cat calls, my friend.
All right, and sure, real quick, let me read some super chats because I've been instructed by White Chocolate. Eric37 says with the $2 love bomb, my optimism is more genuine than last year. White Chocolate Espresso says, who's still crying about Peyton? Not this guy. See, he's got a showboat. He's got a peacock. Everybody hated Sean Payton. Listen, we're all happy about Frank Reich, and I think you should be too. So without further ado, let's jump into some cat calls at 252-228-5098.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
Why isn't it playing? Can you not hear it?
Nope.
Good old Frankie.
No,
Right.
Sorry,
I don't know about y'all podcast brothers. How y'all doing? It's G Cavassier.
What up, G?
Man. What y'all think about those press conferences today, man, with Caldwell and good old Frankie? Right. I don't know about y'all, but I feel so damn anxious for the season to start. Doesn't seem like both of them talk like they know what they're talking about. It didn't seem like, when Matt Rule was the damn coach, he just babbled and babbled and babbled and babbled. Did y'all notice that shit, or was it just me? I noticed that shit. I'm telling you, man. I think the South is going to be ours this year. I really do. I really, really do. And I give two fucks if New Orleans gets a new quarterback, or if fucking seriously doubted Lamar Jackson goes to Atlanta. I don't give a damn. I truly believe the South is going to be ours this year. And I see us going to the playoffs. And I said that shit before in the past and had to eat crow. But this season, with these coaches, oh my God, man. What rookie will want to come to a coaching staff like this, especially quarterback, or a seasoned veteran quarterback with this coaching staff that we have? Hey, I'm excited, y'all. I don't know how you guys feel, but I am excited. We got to put the pieces together and just play some damn football come September, y'all. All right, now, keep pounding.
Keep pounding, man. I love the press conferences. I love the feel from these coaches. And yeah, you're right, G. There's no reason why the Carolina Panthers couldn't absolutely run through the NFC South next year, man. There's so much turnaround with every team in our division. We don't know who the starting quarterbacks literally any team in the NFC South, we don't know who their starting quarterback is going to be. There's been coaching changes. There's just so much going on right now. Tampa Bay just lost Tom Brady. Yeah, if this Panthers team, if we're able to settle down on the quarterback position, find the guy, be it Matt Corral or someone in the draft or Derek Carr or whatever they end up doing, and get this defense back to purring, back to getting aggressive, pinning their ears back, and rushing the passer. Yeah, man, we can take away the football. We can do everything that we need to do. We just have to put the pieces together, and I think that we have the coaching staff to do it.
All right, let's go to the next call. The number's 252-228-5098.
Hey, gentlemen, Daniel here. Hope y'all are doing well.
What up, Daniel?
And, oh, man, it's been so many years since I've been this excited, man, but just hearing this coaching staff, just speak, man, it's like it's such fresh air that we're breathing right now. It's so different than the crap that we would always get with Matt Rule, so I'm cautiously optimistic, but man, this is sounding great, and I just sit here and talk about all the points that I heard throughout this press conference, man, where it would take me all night. So, I think that the main thing that I took out of it all is how he doesn't want anyone to be a yes man. He wants everybody to have their own thing, bring their own thing to the table, and just speak their mind. That to me is huge. But we'll hopefully all of this will translate into the free agency and the draft, and just hang on for a wild ride. Hopefully a good one. But as always, gentlemen, keep out.
I love the call. I think a lot of us are sharing that same sentiment. And I go on Pirate Radio on Fridays at 4 p.m. Talk Carolina Panthers and NFL news with my good buddy Clip Brock, who I grew up with. And Clip is a Commanders fan, and he's been doing radio long enough to where he doesn't get too high. He usually is probably too low, just living in depression in so many ways. Like, he doesn't ever get excited. He was asking me, when everybody on the internet, because he has so many people that are Carolina Panther fans that are involved in his show because of location. He was saying, man, I've never seen a guy like a Giro ever where not a single person is negative on him. And he actually wasn't giving this as a compliment. He was like, also just like, is everybody just jumping on board with zero hesitation, just saying this is the greatest thing I've ever heard? But as you look at the composition of the coaching staff in its totality, there's an ease. There is a security that comes with me that right away I feel comfort. I don't feel the anxiety that even comes with the necessity of this coaching. Like when we had Matt Rule and the Joe Brady, there was hype around those names, right? And let's not lie, is that, I want to be optimistic. I want to cheer for people to succeed, not to fail. But we were just listening to what the talking heads had told us about Matt Rule as the program builder. And then we listen to people tell us that Joe Brady is this offensive mind. We have some of those moments of excitement here, but we really have like real proven capability. And I feel like I can close unlike riding in the truck with my son, I can close my eyes and take a nap and feel comfortable that we're going to arrive at our destination safely.
Same. I'm feeling it, man. I'm feeling the same optimism. And I said this on the free-for-all. I love it when Panther fans are feeling optimistic, because there hasn't been a lot to be optimistic about the past few years. But now we have a reason, man. And it seems like we have a good reason to be optimistic.
And our optimism, I think my optimism is much different than other moments in this way, is that we tried to be optimistic going into this past season. We tried to find silver linings. And there were a few, to be honest, securing some coaches that like Tabor and Campen, even McAdoo, arguably. And if we go back when we did all the picks, we were trying to generate and manufacture excitement in wins. That's what we were trying to say, is that, man, if we could get 9 wins, that's where our excitement was, is like, if we can find a way. I haven't in my head tried to put a number on this excitement. I haven't put a win total on the excitement because I feel like it doesn't matter. My excitement isn't based on just immediate returns. I just feel confident in my investment. If I'm buying a stock and then I turn on the stock ticker tomorrow and it doesn't go up, I'm not like, oh God, maybe I made bad. I can feel confident, like, hey, Apple is a good investment.
I get what you're saying, but are you basically saying that you're okay with being somewhat mediocre for the next couple of years? It means that we're building something that could be good for 7 after that?
No, I just don't
because
think
if you have people that are building something, it shouldn't take that long.
I agree. That's what I mean. Like, I guess, I don't know. I just feel like the only way to equate success from right now, from where we came from last year to us where we're going moving forward, is wins, in my opinion.
No, that's always how you can, I guess, quantify success, Greg. Like, that's always, like, I mean, those are real measurements, right? So if you go and you only win 2 games, you haven't had success. But what I'm saying, I guess, I think this is the way I'm trying to figure out how to articulate my feeling, is that I felt like if we didn't win 10 games last year, right, that, like, you have no confidence in this coaching staff. Like, it was like 9, I still wouldn't have been enough.
Okay.
8 wouldn't have been enough. I feel like if we fill whatever that number is for someone that quantifies success, if we're 1 game short of that, or 1 game over, or 2 games, or I don't feel like panic. Like, right away. I mean, yes, I want us to succeed, but I don't think I go out there and go, well, if we don't go 9-7, then we're a failed team.
I got you. You may not be able to walk the tightrope, but you got a safety net now. Is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah, it does. It
Okay.
just doesn't feel so dependent. It's kind of like on a company that's meant for a growth stock. All right, think about this is just to continue with the stock analogy, is that either an IPO, right? So I bought PayPal when it came out on IPO, and they had since that company was so big already, they had people who had early access to the IPO. So like,
Right.
I don't know how, whatever the investors, people that owned the company before it went public got early access. So when I bought it, it wasn't the lowest possible number you could have ever gotten in on. I bought it at $44 a share and it went down immediately. And I didn't go, oh, PayPal, I wish I wouldn't have bought this stock. I believed in that company and it doubled my investment later on. I just feel like rule and that uncertainty is just the fine line of having to succeed is so much about the confidence. So for instance, like if Apple misses their earnings call by a few percentage points and their stock takes a 4% hit for a week or two, I'm not like, oh, Apple.
Right.
But I am like that on companies that don't have that stability.
Right.
That's, I guess, how I'm sure. I just don't feel one win is going to say, oh, this guy sucks or he's great.